The broadcast started like a bad sci-fi parody. By decree of the Galactic Senate, the Terran species is hereby ordered to surrender its planetary sovereignty and submit to integration under the concord of civilized worlds. The alien announcer's voice was like three frogs gargling motor oil through a flute. The camera panned to 1,000 alien delegates, scaled, furred, feathered, glowing, watching the decree with smug, bureaucratic pride. And then, on the small hollow screen in the center, the representative of Earth appeared. He smiled. Not the fearful or angry smile they expected from a conquered species, but the sort of smile one gives a waiter when the steak is overcooked but you're too polite to complain. "Ambassador," croaked the HFY speaker, "your people are now under galactic custody. Do you accept the terms of surrender?" The human adjusted his tie. Not exactly. That was the moment history swerved. 3 hours earlier, in orbit over Earth, Admiral Elias Rains stood in a ship that technically didn't exist. It was called Diplomacy's End. No record, no transponder, no paperwork. Just a black hole leviathan that hummed with the kind of quiet that only humans had learned to weaponize. He watched the Senate's ultimatum stream through the window, drinking coffee like a man at peace with hell. The mug said "World's okayest Admiral." Behind him, Commander Lin tried to keep her composure. "Sir, their fleet's parked at Lagrange 1. 9,000 ships. They're not bluffing this time." "I know," Rain said, swirling his coffee. "They've sent everyone who ever thought we were too dangerous to keep around." She frowned. "And you're smiling because?" "Because they think we're going to fight them with ships." He raised an eyebrow. "We're not." At the same time, the Senate session reached a crescendo. The aliens' arrogance was practically a religious ceremony. The Drellans hissed about humanity's primitive aggression. The Chur spat about interspecies contamination. The elegant Avrith declared that Earth is a failed evolutionary experiment. Rains's hologram flickered in the center of the hall, calmly listening. When the speaker finally demanded an answer, he gave it with disarming cheer. "Oh, of course, we accept your terms." 1,000 alien heads tilted. "Excellent," said the speaker. "Then Earth will submit its planetary defense codes, deactivate all orbital assets, and prepare for relocation." "About that," Rain said, taking another sip of coffee, "there's just one little misunderstanding." The translation delay stretched the moment like rubber. "What misunderstanding?" Rain smiled wider. "We didn't surrender to you." 20 minutes later, the Senate chamber was in chaos. Every screen, every datapad, every comm beacon in orbit began playing a single human transmission. Operation Last Light initiated. At first, the aliens assumed it was a bluff. Humans were famous for melodrama. They'd expected bluster, maybe a missile barrage, a few noble speeches about freedom, something quaint and cinematic. They didn't expect silence. The kind of silence that made static sound like a heartbeat. Then, slowly, the stars behind Earth began to disappear. Not explode. Not flare. Just vanish. The Avrith Admiral screamed, their defense grid, its collapsing spacetime itself. Rains's voice came through every channel, smooth and almost apologetic. "We told you humans were good at recycling. You see, every warhead we ever built, every reactor, every scrap of decommissioned AI, none of it was destroyed. We turned it all into one system. A failsafe. One that doesn't destroy enemies, just resets the board." The HFY speaker stammered, You would erase stars?" Rains's tone never changed. "No. Just the ones who voted yes." Back on Earth, billions watched the sky dim. Some cried. Some prayed. Some simply went to rooftops with beers and watched the galaxy rearrange itself. Lin's voice trembled. "Sir, the failsafe will consume everything within 3 sectors. Including us." Rains looked at her, calm as gravity. "I know. Then why activate it?" He set down the empty mug. "Because we asked nicely first." The Senate fleet broke before it burned. Thousands of ships scattered, engines flaring like frightened fireflies. The gravitational storm caught them anyway, stretching hulls into luminous ribbons, warping space-time like molten glass. The Senate's proud armada became a smear of light around the dying orbit of Earth. In the chamber, the surviving delegates screamed through static, begging for a countercode. Only Raines's voice answered. "You wanted Earth's surrender. You forgot to ask what Earth wanted in return." Then came the irony, always a human specialty. The fail-safe didn't erase Earth. It erased the Senate's records of Earth. To every surviving alien civilization, the human homeworld simply vanished from the galactic map. Coordinates gone, files wiped, navigation sensors blinded when aimed at the Sol system. It was as if Earth had never existed. But humans were still there, everywhere. Their ships ghosted through the ruins, silent, efficient, polite as ever. They didn't conquer. They just cleaned up. The galaxy whispered of Terran ghosts, ships that appeared after battles to salvage, repair, and disappear again. Some said they were Raines's fleet, still obeying his last order. Others said they were something worse, humanity's conscience, automated and eternal. Decades later, on a far colony world, a young alien historian found an old transmission fragment. A man in a dark uniform, smiling faintly. It was Raines. He looked older, wearier, but alive, recorded before the final light closed around him. "If anyone finds this," the message began, "tell them we didn't hate you. We just learned to love ourselves enough not to kneel again. You called us dangerous because we laughed in the face of extinction. You never understood that was our secret weapon." He paused, eyes distant. "You see, humans don't fight to survive. We survive because we fight, and because when we're done, we still make coffee." He lifted the same chipped mug, toasted the camera, and the feed cut to static. In the centuries that followed, the galaxy rebuilt itself, but without its self-appointed gods. Trade routes reopened. Wars cooled into grudging peace. No one dared search for Earth again. Not out of fear, at least, that's what they told themselves. It was respect. Because every now and then, in the deep black between stars, a distress signal would flicker for a moment before being replaced by a familiar phrase in a dead human language. Polite reminder. You wanted our surrender. You already got it. And then, silence. The kind that sounds a little like a man smiling as he sets down his coffee cup, one last time.